my name is Alexis, and I'm the owner and operator of Sweet Lake of the Woods Chocolate Shop in Kenora, Ontario. I'm going to chat with you quickly about why I'm glad I took math classes all the way through high school. Math wasn't something that ever came easily or naturally to me. My brain just doesn't remember things, so I was never able to learn how to do math in my head or learn my multiplication tables. I still can't do it. So I had a tutor for a couple of years to get me through my high school math classes. What she was able to teach me was that there's always more than one way to learn how to do something. So I have to find a way to understand the question, and then I can understand how I want to solve the problem. And as long as I understand the question, there's usually a few ways to solve it. For example, there's now 2 ways to learn how to do long division. And there's going to be one way that'll work a lot better for each person. You get to decide your own way to solve the problem. And this is the main skill that you're going to get out of math classes, is learning how to find a solution to a problem that's going to work for you. I've spoken about this with other people that are self-employed, and we all seem to agree that it really doesn't matter what industry you're in, how big your business is, how many employees or suppliers or vendors you have. As an entrepreneur, my job isn't making chocolate or selling chocolate. It's solving problems. That's it. So, for you to have success in what you do, whether you work for yourself or for someone else, you'll set yourself apart by being able to find solutions to the problems or obstacles that are faced with every single day. Some solutions are found by doing research or asking for help or just by leaning in and working hard. But most problems are solved by being able to quantify the problem and using math to find the solution. I'll give you a couple quick examples of times that math was particularly important for problem solving in my business. There's lots of really simple everyday examples. For example, I have 2 suppliers that sell me the same raw material. One of them, the product is less expensive, but they charge shipping on the items, while the other one is more expensive but has free shipping. So I need to be able to review the costs of shipping to see at what quantity of products I need to order for it to make sense to order from each supplier. Other things are a little more complicated. I manufacture chocolate products, so that means that I purchase raw ingredients, make them into something tasty, package them up, and sell them. So simple decisions like finding suppliers that have the best prices is pretty straightforward. But calculating the actual cost of each product is a little more complicated. There's the raw ingredients, the packaging, labeling, they all have costs. But so does the time that it takes to make each product. For every hour that somebody's working, I have to think about their wages, WSIB, EI, CPP, vacation pay, and all those kinds of things. And then once I know how much it costs to make each item, I have to make sure my pricing also covers a portion of expenses like rent, utilities, staffing for the retail store, insurance, marketing, all that kind of stuff. So I need to be able to really understand what all my costs are so that I can determine my pricing. And also so that I can see where there's opportunities to decrease my costs when possible. Another recent example is deciding on a new location for my business. I'm currently in the process of moving, so I had to find a new location to move to. In making the decision of whether or not to move and where to move to, of course I wanted to consider things like location, accessibility, traffic flow, and maybe things like which area of the city I wanted to be located in, parking for staff and for customers. But the most basic thing I need to review is the cost. So before deciding whether or not to move and where to move to, I had to really analyze the costs. So there's things like comparing rent and utilities. There's always going to be costs to upgrade a new space, which includes leasehold improvements like electrical and plumbing, paint, maybe I need some new displays. I will need to do some more marketing so that people will know where to find me. I'll have to reorder things like business cards and materials that have my physical address on it. I need to really analyze which option is the best, and sometimes the best option isn't always the least expensive option, but it's really hard to make an informed decision without all the information. So these are just a couple examples of how I use math every single day. It could even be things like making change for people and calculating costs and tips and things like that. It may seem when you're in high school that it's not important to learn how to graph for X. But what you're actually learning is how to think about an abstract thought that doesn't really make sense until it clicks and then you know how to solve that kind of problem. I don't think I recall ever having to solve for X in my real life or graph X, but I have had to analyze graphs and review numbers, compare charts, communicate complicated information to other people using stats and percentages and graphs. And if nothing else, I'm glad to know enough that I can figure out how to help my daughters with their math homework. So I hope you won't be discouraged by the abstract things that you're learning in math classes, because no matter which career path you choose, you're always going to need to understand interest rates at your bank, exchange rates when you travel, tax implications of all kinds of decisions. You're going to be really glad that you made the decision to learn how to use math for all kinds of problem solvings. Good luck with everything.